"What is this thing you give birth to, woman?" Amika snapped, his voice sharp with anger as he stared at the newborn in the dim hut. Adana, his wife, lay exhausted on a woven mat, her beauty undimmed despite the strain of labor. In Ikorodu, Lagos, where the lagoon's breeze carried the scent of suya and the hum of Fuji music, Adana was a legend. Her grace, honed at her mother's stall in Oshodi Market, and her kind heart made her the dream of every man. Suitors had hoped for a daughter as radiant as she, a mirror of her charm. But Adana chose Emeka, a bold fisherman whose love for her rivaled the tides. Their marriage thrived, and when Adana conceived a girl after a year, Emeka's joy lit up Ikorodu. "She'll be your Miniyu," he'd say, dreaming of her beauty. The community, from market women to Okada riders, buzzed with anticipation, certain Adana's daughter would outshine her. On a moonless night, as Adana's labor began, Ikorodu held its breath. Women gathered outside, whispering prayers under mango trees, while midwives chanted Yoruba blessings. Hours passed, the air thick with tension. With a final push, Adana delivered. Silence fell. The midwives, hands trembling, cleaned the child. Her head was massive, like a calabash swollen by some unseen juju. Emeka rushed in, eager for his daughter's cry. Seeing her, he froze. "What is this thing you give birth to, woman?" he roared, storming into the night. Adana, heart pounding, gazed at her baby. When the child wailed, love surged. "You're Nkechi, God's gift," she whispered, kissing her brow. As Nkechi grew, her head swelled larger, drawing cruel jeers in Ikorodu. Children and elders called her Calabash Head, snickering in the market. Prince Chinedu, the chief's arrogant son, was the worst, summoning Nkechi to his Lekki compound to mock her. "Balance a pot on that head," he'd laugh. Adana soothed her with proverbs. "The river flows, but the rock stands firm." But Emeka, ashamed, disowned Nkechi, his gaze cold. Nkechi fled to Ikorodu's mangrove forest, where fireflies danced and trees whispered. There she studied herbs, crafting potions from leaves. Some eased pain, others healed wounds, a few induced sleep. She dreamed of a brew to shrink her head. At the Ikorodu festival, amid jollof rice and Fuji beets, Chinedu spotted Nkechi. "Calabash Head will balance apples," he jeered from a stage. The crowd roared as Nkechi, trembling, placed 2 apples. The third fell, sparking laughter. Tears streaming, she fled to the forest, collapsing by a mangrove. A groan startled her. Segun, a wounded stranger, lay bloodied from a bandit's attack. Nkechi's kindness stirred. She made a leaf paste, stopping his bleeding. "You're a healer," Segun said. At home, Emeka raged. "Useless girl bringing strangers." Adana intervened. She saved him. Grudgingly, Emeka allowed Segun a week in the yam barn. That night, a whisper drifted from the mangroves. "Nkechi, your head holds a secret." Was it the wind or a spirit? Nkechi nodded and helped Segun to the barn, ensuring he had a mat and water. She brought him egusi soup and fufu, and Segun thanked her, touched by her kindness. Over the week, Segun's wounds healed under Nkechi's care. She visited daily, applying herbal pastes from Ikorodu's mangroves. His strength returned, but a jagged scar marred his face, making him look fearsome. When his time in the barn ended, Segun found a small shack in Ikorodu and a job tending pigs at a nearby farm. He became Nkechi's only friend, seeing her heart, not her calabash head. Weeks passed, and Ikorodu noticed their bond. They'd walk through the market or gather herbs by the lagoon. Villagers whispered, and Prince Chinedu mocked them louder. "Calabash head and pig man, a perfect pair," he jeered. One day, as Nkechi and Segun passed the market, a woman sneered, "Look, Nkechi and that scarred pig keeper." A man laughed. She thinks her herbs will fix his ugly face. Chinadu joined in, striding over. Nkechi, why pick this nobody? Oh right, only he matches your type. He cackled. Nkechi's heart stung, but she turned to Segun, who looked hurt, and said, "Let's go." Walking away, Segun sighed. "Maybe we shouldn't be seen together, Nkechi." "No," she said. "They shunned me until you came. Why care what they think?" Segun smiled. "Your friendship means everything. I'd be lost without you. We're here for each other," Nkechi said. "One day we'll find love that sees us as we are." Then a sickness swept Ikorodu. The lagoon's water turned foul, and many, including the chief, fell ill. The local herbalist, famed for curing all, failed to heal them. Panic grew as people died. Desperate, the villagers turned to Nkechi. "I won't help," she snapped when Adana relayed the chief's plea. "They mocked my head. Why should I care?" Adana pleaded. "Don't let their evil change your heart. Use your gift. God may turn this for good." Nkechi sighed. "Only for you, Mama." With Segun's help, she scoured the mangroves, mixing herbs into a potion. She tended the sick day and night. Slowly, they recovered, and the chief regained strength, saved by Nkechi's remedy. Ikorodu breathed again. One hot afternoon, Nkechi napped when Adana rushed in. "Nkechi, wake up. Someone's here," she said, beaming. Curious, Nkechi stepped outside. Villagers crowded her hut with gifts of yams, ankara cloth, and palm wine. Segun stood among them, eyes wide. Chinadu was there too. Chinadu knelt before Nkechi, holding a ring. "Marry me," he said. The crowd gasped. Nkechi stared, unmoved, then walked to Segun. "When will you tell me how you feel?" she asked softly. Segun's eyes widened. "You knew? I thought my scar and job would make you reject me." Nkechi smiled. "We all have scars. Speak your heart." Segun knelt. "Nkechi, your kindness and strength are unmatched. I've loved you since the forest. Will you be my partner for life?" Tears fell. "Yes, Segun," Nkechi said. They kissed, ignoring the shocked crowd, and walked away hand in hand. Chinedu, still kneeling, fumed with embarrassment. Villagers murmured, stunned that Nkechi chose a pig keeper over a prince. When Emeka heard, he raged. "You rejected a prince for that pig man? With your calabash head, you should have jumped at Chinedu. If not for Adana, I doubt you're my daughter. A true child of mine knows value." Nkechi snapped. "If you're tired of me, say I'm not your daughter. I'll leave." She stormed off, fed up with his insults, her heart set on a new path with Segun. That night, Adana slipped into Nkechi's room, finding her daughter still upset over Emeka's harsh words. "Don't be mad at your father," Adana said. "He's worried about you." "He hates me because my head isn't like yours, Mama," Nkechi replied. "He can insult my looks, but he can't force me to marry Chinedu, who mocks me every chance he gets." Adana studied her. "What do you know about Segun? You met him hurt in the forest, but do you know his past?" "I've asked, Mama," Nkechi said. "He doesn't remember. The bandits' attack stole his memories." Adana nodded. "What if he's hiding something? He seems kind and loves you, but don't marry someone without knowing who he is. You're priceless to me, no matter your head." Nkechi decided to visit Segun the next morning to ask again about his past, hoping to spark his memory. But as she neared his shack, she saw palace guards with cutlasses drag Segun out. Nkechi ran to them. "What's happening?" "Prince's orders," a guard said, shoving Segun away. Nkechi stormed to the palace in Lekki, heart racing. Chinedu lounged with friends, laughing over palm wine. Nkechi burst in. "Why arrest Segun? He's done nothing." This is because I rejected you, isn't it? Chinedu smirked. Don't flatter yourself, Nkechi. It's not about you. Segun's a stranger. After the lagoon's water turned bad, we suspect a traitor. He's the only new face. That's a lie, Nkechi snapped. Segun helped save this village. He's kind, not a traitor. You're just jealous I chose him. Chinedu's eyes flashed, but he stayed calm. I protect Ikorodu. Segun's suspicious. He stays locked up until we know more. And since when do you talk back to me? This isn't fair, Nkechi said, voice shaking. You're punishing him for my choice. Enough, Chinedu barked. Get out, Calabash head. For 4 days, Nkechi couldn't eat or visit her mangroves. Adana begged her to stay strong, but Nkechi felt Segun's suffering was her fault. She decided to accept Chinedu's proposal to free Segun, even if it meant a loveless life. The next morning, nearing the palace, Nkechi overheard Chinedu talking to a friend. I only proposed to Nkechi because my father says her herb skills will make Ikorodu the greatest. But marry that ugly Calabash head? Never. And Segun? I hate him for winning her. I've got poison ready for his food. His death won't trace back to me. Nkechi's heart pounded. Chinedu's cruelty shocked her. She steadied herself, walked in, and knelt. Prince, I accept your proposal. I'll marry you. Chinedu's eyes widened. Why the change? You're the prince, Nkechi said, voice flat. You offer a better life than Segun. No noble man wants me. I'm being smart. Chinedu grinned. You finally see sense. Good choice. Nkechi forced a smile, hiding her fear and anger. Thank you, my prince, Nkechi said softly, her voice steady despite her racing heart. But I have one request. What is it? Prince Chinedu asked, leaning back in his carved chair. Please, Nkechi said, her voice trembling just enough. Let me see Segun one last time. I want to say goodbye. I won't ask for anything else.
Before Chinedu could respond, the guard who'd seen Segun's neck mark stepped forward. Prince, I must speak. The crowd hushed. When we carried Segun to the forest, I saw a mark on his neck, a royal stamp from Badagry. He's no pig keeper, he's a lost prince, stolen as a child. Segun's eyes widened. I don't remember my past, he said. Bandits left me with no memories. The guard knelt. Your mark proves it. You're the heir of Badagry's chief taken years ago. Ikorodu's chief must hear this. Chinedu's face paled. The crowd turned on him, their whispers now accusations. Nkechi's heart raced. This was the twist she hadn't expected. Segun, a prince, her potion had saved not just her love, but a royal truth. Adana hugged Nkechi. You've done well, my child. The river flows, but the rock stands firm. The villagers, once cruel, now looked at Nkechi with awe. Her herbs and courage had saved a prince and exposed Chinedu's lies. Chinedu, cornered, shouted, "This changes nothing, I rule here." But the chief, recovered from the sickness, arrived, his presence silencing the square. Enough, Chinedu, he said. You've shamed Ikorodu. Segun will be verified. If he's Badagry's heir, we'll make amends. Nkechi and Segun stood tall, hands clasped. The chief turned to Nkechi. Your herbs saved us and your heart saved a prince. Name your reward. Nkechi glanced at Segun, then at Adana. I want only peace for us and for my mother to be honored. Let Ikorodu judge fairly, not by looks or lies. The chief nodded. So it will be. He ordered Chinedu confined until the truth was settled. The villagers cheered, some apologizing to Nkechi for their past cruelty. Emeka, watching from the crowd, hung his head, silent for once. That night, under the stars by the lagoon, Nkechi and Segun sat together. If I'm a prince, Segun said, I want you as my queen, Nkechi. Your head, your heart, they're perfect to me." Nkechi smiled, tears glinting. "And you're my home, Segun, prince or pig keeper." They kissed, the lagoon's waves singing their future. As days passed, messengers from Badagry confirmed Segun's identity. He was their lost prince, and Ikorodu celebrated his return. Nkechi's hut became a place of honor, where she taught herb craft to eager youths. Adana beamed, her daughter's strength now Ikorodu's pride. Emeka, humbled, sought Nkechi's forgiveness, which she gave, though scars lingered. Chinedu faced justice, stripped of his title for his schemes. Nkechi and Segun, bound by love, planned a life together, their story a new Ikorodu legend. The girl with the calabash head who outwitted a prince and saved a king. Nkechi and Segun walked back to Ikorodu at dawn, their hearts set on facing Prince Chinedu. The lagoon's mist clung to their clothes, but their steps were firm. In the village, Chinedu was livid. He'd stormed to Nkechi's hut to drag her to the palace for an engagement announcement, only to learn from Adana and Emeka that she'd vanished since yesterday. Sensing Nkechi had outsmarted him again, Chinedu's anger boiled. He called every villager to the market square, his voice sharp as a cutlass. "Anyone who sees Nkechi must bring her to me for punishment," he shouted, his eyes scanning the crowd. Just then, Nkechi and Segun stepped into the square hand in hand. Chinedu's jaw dropped when he saw Segun. "How are you alive?" he roared. "You were dead." "I stopped your plan to poison him, you wicked man," Nkechi snapped. The crowd gasped, traders pausing with their yams and ankara cloth. Chinedu lunged to slap Nkechi, but Segun grabbed his wrist. "Don't touch her," Segun growled, his scarred face fierce. "You pig keeper with that ugly scar dare talk to me, Ikorodu's prince." Chinedu spat. "I don't care if you're king of the world," Segun said. "Lay a hand on her and I'll end you." Chinedu swung at Segun, but before his fist landed, the guard who'd seen the stamp on Segun's neck burst in, followed by a tall man in a flowing agbada, his presence silencing the square. It was Emperor Adebayo, supreme ruler of 7 kingdoms, including Ikorodu. Everyone froze. Villagers from Okada riders to market women knelt. Chinedu and his father, Chief Owolabi, bowed low. "Your Majesty," Owolabi stammered, rushing forward. "Welcome to Ikorodu. Why this sudden visit?" Emperor Adebayo ignored him, his eyes locking on Segun. With a gasp, he strode over, lifted Segun from his kneel and checked his neck. The royal stamp, a crescent moon, glinted. Tears welled in the emperor's eyes. "My son," he whispered, pulling Segun into a tight embrace. "Tayo, my son, you're alive." Segun blinked, confused. "Papa," he said, voice shaking. Memories flickered, bandits, a blow to his head, darkness. "Is it really you?" "Yes, my boy," Adebayo said, tears falling. "A guard came to Badagry yesterday saying he'd seen your body dumped in Ikorodu's mangroves. I came to mourn you, but you're here." He turned to Nkechi, who stood by Segun. "And you, brave girl, saved my son." Segun pulled Nkechi close. "She's Nkechi, the love of my life. Her potion tricked death itself." Adebayo hugged Nkechi, his voice warm. "Bless you, daughter. You've given me back my heir." The crowd murmured, stunned. Chinedu's face paled. Adana pushed through, her eyes shining with pride. Emeka, at the edge, hung his head. Adebayo faced Segun. "Why didn't you come home? Your mother and I mourned you for months." "I'm sorry, Papa," Segun said, wiping tears. "The bandits' attack stole my memories. I forgot who I was until I saw you. Nkechi found me bleeding in the mangroves and healed me. She's why I'm alive." Adebayo embraced Nkechi again. May the ancestors bless you, child. He turned, his gaze hardening as it fell on Chinedu. The prince, desperate, stepped forward, forcing a smile. Your Majesty, we didn't know Tayo lived among us. He was a dear friend. Silence, Adebayo thundered. My guard told me everything. Your orders to poison my son, your cruelty to him and Nkechi. You're a disgrace to Ikorodu. He faced Chief Owolabi. I'll summon the 6 other kings to strip you and your son of power. No heartless man should rule. Chinedu and Owolabi begged, but Adebayo waved them off. Guards, take them to the palace. They'll face justice. He turned to Nkechi and Segun. Come with me to Badagry. Tayo, your mother, awaits. Nkechi, you'll be honored as family. Nkechi glanced at Adana, who nodded, tears in her eyes. Go, my child, the river flows, but the rock stands firm. Nkechi hugged her mother, then took Segun's hand. The villagers watched, some whispering apologies for their past jeers at Calabash Head. At home, Adana rejoiced, praising the ancestors for Nkechi's triumph. Emeka, ashamed, sought Nkechi before she left. I was wrong, he said, voice low. I treated you and Tayo poorly. Forgive me. Nkechi nodded, her heart softening. You're still my father, she said, hugging him. In Badagry, Segun, now Tayo, was welcomed as the lost prince. His mother, Queen Folake, wept, embracing him and Nkechi. The kingdom buzzed with the tale of Nkechi's courage and Tayo's return. A grand wedding was planned, and Ikorodu was invited, even those who'd mocked Nkechi. The ceremony under Badagry's baobab trees was a festival of Fuji music, jollof rice, and palm wine. Nkechi and shimmering Ankara glowed beside Tayo, whose scar only added to his regal air. Their story spread across the 7 kingdoms. Nkechi, once Calabash Head, was now a heroine, her herb craft taught to Badagry's healers. Tayo, preparing to rule as emperor, vowed to govern with Nkechi's kindness. Ikorodu, humbled, rebuilt under a new chief, while Chinedu and Owolabi faced exile for their crimes. Back in Ikorodu, Adana's hut became a place of pilgrimage where youths learned Nkechi's proverbs and potions. Emeka, changed, helped his wife, honoring their daughter's legacy. Nkechi and Tayo visited often, their love a beacon. By the lagoon, under starlight, Nkechi smiled at Tayo. Prince or pig keeper, you're mine. He kissed her, the waves whispering their legend. The girl with the big head who saved an emperor's son,